Hello everyone and welcome. It is absolutely fantastic to see so many people here today to celebrate living donation. My name is Catherine Tinkham. I'm a transplant nephrologist and I'm the Director of Quality and Innovation for the UHN Transplant Program. I'm also a member of the Governance Committee for the Center for Living Organ Donation, which is hosting today's event. It's my absolute pleasure to welcome all of you here today to our beautiful De Gasperis atrium at Toronto General Hospital. There are so many aspects of my job that I love, but right here, right now, I can't think of anything more rewarding than simply saying thank you. I look around the room and I just see a lot of superheroes. We have with us members today of the transplant team, doctors, nurses, coordinators, our support staff, individuals who give of themselves in a way that goes far beyond their professional duties. Thank you so much for everything you do to make this transplant program truly amongst the best in the world. And now I'm probably a little bit biased, but I think the world of transplant is actually something really special. A successful transplant just doesn't give a patient their old life back. It actually gives them a better life, free of the many restrictions that chronic illness placed on them before. And it's really gratifying to be able to be a part of that experience. Because of what I do, I'm often asked, what would motivate people to donate a kidney or part of their liver, sometimes to a total stranger? And the answer is, I believe people are fundamentally generous. And I believe that because I see the evidence every single day, and I see the evidence right here in this room. Sadly, there are still gaps in awareness and some real barriers to access. But the desire to do good, that's not the part that's missing. And if you believe that, then it just becomes a matter of math. If 1 out of every 10,000 Ontarians were able to be a living donor, we could clear the kidney and liver wait list tomorrow. And when you think of it like that, it makes it crystal clear how important it is to spread awareness, educate people, open doors, and simply allow people to walk right through them. And that's why we founded the Center for Living Organ Donation. We are so very lucky to have donors who support this mission. Joanne Carney and Brendan Cahill are the champions behind the creation for the Center for Living Organ Donation. Thank you, Joanne and Brendan. You'll be hearing from them later. And also, without generous donors like Astellas Pharma Canada, one of today's sponsors, there is so much that we wouldn't be able to do. Thank you to Astellas for supporting our program and for helping us save lives. And most importantly, I think we can all agree there aren't enough words to express our gratitude to those who've given their kidney or part of their liver to someone in need. In just a few minutes, we're going to have the privilege of hearing from some of our organ donors and recipients. Every one of their stories is unique, just as every one of yours is unique. But what they have in common are some incredible acts of bravery and resilience in the face of fear. Gratitude seems like too small a word for your generous gifts. And to all of you, we can't thank you enough. So now I'd like to welcome up here Dr. Atul Humar, the Medical Director of the Sam and Shayla Ajmera Family Transplant Center, and Dr. Kevin Smith, CEO and President of UHN.
So thank you very much. Thank you, Catherine. So I want to start by acknowledging our living donor kidney and liver transplant team members, most of who are here in the audience today and have joined us for this very special occasion. These are the nurses, admins, educators, physicians, and surgeons, and many, many others who make what we do possible. I just want to say their dedication and devotion to their job is really an inspiration for all of us in our transplant program and at UHN. I myself feel very honored to be able to work alongside such really, really talented people. I honestly believe that this is really the best place in the world to have a living donor, either be a donor or to have the honor of being a recipient of a living donor organ. Our outcomes are excellent, and we've shown time and time again, actually, that the living donor outcomes, despite all the advances we've made with deceased organ donation, the living donor outcomes for the recipients are still better. Now what we're going to see is that with the creation of the Center for Living Organ Donation, where we brought together the liver and kidney teams, we're going to push the boundaries even further. We're going to have new innovative ways to do the transplant surgery, for example, doing the liver resection, the liver hepatectomy laparoscopically, like we do with kidney donation. We're going to find new ways to educate our patients and our donors and the community at large about living donation. And we're going to find new ways to increase the number of living organ donors that come forward and the number of recipients that we can save. I also just want to acknowledge a couple of members of our team who are here today, who are not only work at UHN and in the transplant team, but also came forward as living donors. Trevor Hannigan is a security officer at UHN and donated a kidney anonymously several years ago now, and works here at UHN and opens my office door when I lock myself out, and is a great guy. The other person I want to acknowledge is Andrea Norgate, who's actually one of our pancreas transplant coordinators, and she's an amazing coordinator. She gives her cell phone number to all her patients who text her on weekends and holidays, no matter what the problem is. They're in continuous communication with her, and she donated a kidney as well through the anonymous donation just a couple of years ago. Thanks. Most importantly, though, I want to thank and acknowledge all the living kidney and liver donors that are here today. You know, we do several of these transplants and donations a week now, and no matter how many times I see it, no matter how many times I meet the donors or meet the recipients, I'm still amazed at this. It's just such an incredible thing to see how the recipients really transform their lives and they recover so quickly most of the time, and they're back home, they're back doing the things that they love. And that's what living donation's all about. For all the donors out there, I have an immense respect for you. I'm really humbled to be in your presence. And you know, we look at all the stuff, all the crap that's going on in the world today, and then what I see here is an example that shows me that, you know, ordinary, regular people can really do extraordinary things. And all of you, yeah. And all of you are truly extraordinary people. So thank you once again. And with that, it's my pleasure to introduce our CEO, Kevin Smith, who has really been a strong and ardent supporter of the transplant program. Kevin?
Thank you. So thank you very much for your warm welcome. A real pleasure for me and privilege for me to be here today with you all. Let me also start by thanking the generous donors, living donors, for their life-saving gifts. Your donation, your choice, has radically transformed the lives not only of the recipient, but the broader families of so many recipients. So a sincere thank you to each and every one of you. As you know, the Living Donor Program has a long and proud history at the University Health Network. Began in 1969 when UHN surgeons performed Toronto General's first living kidney donor transplant. The program is now the largest of its kind anywhere in Canada, and we are the largest transplant center in North America. That is really amazing. We have had the privilege of serving more than 2,400 living donor transplants, and all of our team at UHN has united. And all of you know this, on those days, and they're more often than not, when we are privileged to be doing transplantation, the whole feel, the heartbeat of the hospital is different. The whole place feels different on those busy transplant days. And frankly, that's because of each of you, the living recipients, and living donors, and the team. And I really want to spend a few minutes on the remarkable transplantation team that we are so lucky to enjoy here at University Health Network. A dedicated, united team of people who really live the mission of this organization each and every day and bring to life the fact that the needs of the patient come first every minute, every second, and every day. So a hearty round of applause for the people on the transplant team. Here, here. Some of you will be aware last year we achieved a North American first with an innovative living donor exchange program, saving the lives of 2 failing liver patients. Thank you to Kelly Bryan and Mohammed Khan for sharing your incredible story. And if you go online, I think you'll just see how this has dramatically changed the way we do our work and how we can make a difference in the lives of those recipients. In this case, it involved 4 simultaneous surgeries, which took over 12 hours. In total, over 100 staff and physicians looked after the pairs before, during, and after the surgery, and we're privileged to do so. So again, I want to take the opportunity to express my and our board's most sincere thanks to Team UHN for your impressive work and dedication to patients and families. Hear. We wouldn't be here today without the importance of research and education as well as clinical care. So while we are privileged to be a hospital that does great clinical care for patients, what's also made the huge difference here is the kind of research and the kind of training that we enjoy. And as one of the best funded research centers in the country, it really allows us not only to look at the applied research of transplantation, but we're doing the basic science, the really molecular and cellular research that allows us to better understand organ rejection and successful transplantation at a very basic science level, which will only pay off in greater and greater and greater ways down the road. So that marriage of clinical care and research, coupled with the fact that we're Canada's largest medical training site, means that the kind of impact that incredibly important tripartite stool really makes us of global impact. And again, I want to thank all folks involved in the clinical mission, the research mission, and that very important educational mission for the next generation of healthcare providers and scientists. Our Living Donor Transplant Center was the first of its kind in the world. Our goal is to increase living organ donation rates by 50%. Right now, sadly, only 1 in 6 people who offer are accepted as living donors, and we would like to see that grow dramatically. The center was established in 2018 thanks to the generous support from founding philanthropic donors, the Kearney and Cahill families, and as Dr. Tinkham mentioned, the Astellas Pharma Center in Canada. As I mentioned, the Kearney family, so Joanne Kearney and Brenda Cahill are the founding supporters of the center, and I know they're here with us tonight. They came up with the idea for the center after experiencing a paired kidney exchange in 2017, and it's a remarkable story. Brendan was a donor and Joanne was a recipient. A special shout out today to Brendan and Joanne, who continue to support the center by serving in so many ways and speaking in so many environments, and a special shout out to Joanne for serving on our governance committee. Let me close by offering my thanks and congratulations to the entire team, especially the leadership led by Dr. Atul Humar and Ms. Joanne Z, and the entire Team UHN, along with the remarkable foundations we enjoy. Our foundations raise more money in Canada than any other hospital foundations, in large part due to the transplant program. So without them, we simply wouldn't be here today celebrating as we are. And most importantly, reserving our greatest thanks to our donors. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Humar and Dr. Smith. I'd now like to call Claire Payne up to the podium. Claire is the Vice President of Clinical Transplant Services at the Trillium Gift of Life Network, who are responsible for providing the medals given to all of our living donors today. Thank you, Claire.
Thank you, Catherine. As Catherine mentioned, I am Claire Payne, Vice President of Transplant at Trillium Gift of Life Network. Each of us in the room today shares in the unique mission to save lives through organ donation, and I'm so honoured to be here to celebrate with all of you. At Trillium Gift of Life Network, we often call organ donors heroes because they perform the most generous act of compassion and in their death give the gift of life. I can say with certainty, I would say with certainty that I see many heroes in the room today and admire your courage and selflessness to give such a precious gift to another. Right now, there are more than 1,600 people waiting for a life-saving organ transplant. As you are aware, they are our family, our friends, our neighbours, and our colleagues. Unfortunately, many of them will not be as blessed as the recipients whose lives have saved through your living donation. As every 3 days, someone dies waiting for a transplant. This is why we cannot be complacent. We should not rest until the majority of Ontarians have registered to be organ donors and one day end preventable deaths on the wait list. On behalf of Trillium Gift of Life Network, I would like to thank you for your generosity and shared purpose of saving lives. Have a great evening, and I look forward to talking to many of you later. Thank you.
So, obviously the biggest highlight of today's event is seeing so many who've been personally touched by living organ donation and hearing all of those stories, which are so unique. We're really fortunate today to be able to bring you some of these amazing stories. I'd now like to invite Megan Thomas, Megan Teitler, Anaya, and Nyla Hutchison to the podium to share their stories. I guess Naya's not going to share her story, but she is going to be adorable.
Okay, so my daughter is Nyla, and I'm Anaya, just to confuse everybody. Let's see, just a second here, sorry. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Grateful to be here at this celebration of organ donors, people who save lives on a daily basis. I might have never known about this incredible group of people if it weren't for my own worst nightmare. No parent ever dreams that their baby will be sick and need care of Sick Kids Hospital, but that has been the reality for us over the last year. My daughter Nyla was born with biliary atresia, which is a deadly liver disease. Last fall, it became clear that Nyla would need a life-saving liver transplant. I was devastated. In my cultural community, it isn't something that gets much discussion. I didn't know a thing about it, and now my daughter needed one to survive. The team at Sick Kids was amazing, taking care of us both and supporting us every step of the way, but we still needed a donor. Miraculously, through a friend, I met a woman who offered to be that donor. I didn't know why a stranger would be willing to help us, and would she and Nyla even be a match? All of this was completely foreign territory for me. From the moment we met though, both Nyla and I knew that Meg was the one, and we moved forward over the next 5 months without looking back. May 23rd, 2019 will always be the most memorable day of my life. That was the day she got a second chance at life because someone put their life on the line for her. I'm overwhelmed with gratitude for the teams at Toronto General Hospital and Sick Kids Hospital that saved my daughter's life. And Megan has become a dear friend and part of our family. I've never knew there was people like Megan, selfless enough to place their lives on pause, be in discomfort, have permanent body scarring to help a family they knew nothing about. If I've learned anything over this past year, it's to trust in God. His timing is perfect. Life can throw curveballs along the way, but as long as we stay positive, believe in miracles and the kindness of strangers, life is a wonderful blessing. Thank you.
Not bad for her first time public speaking. Good afternoon. It is such an honor to stand before you here today. 2.5 years after donating my right kidney to my dear friend Meg in this very hospital, and 130 days after donating the left lobe of my liver to this precious angel Nyla, who is now my goddaughter. Most people would probably Most people would probably think that I am absolutely crazy to call Toronto General Hospital my home away from home. But I grew up within these walls, as my mom has had 2 life-saving liver transplants here. To some, I'm sure this is a scary and dark place, but to me it is a place of hope and strength, a place where miracles occur on a daily basis. So I was thrilled to hear that this special event was going to be taking place here. I have probably encountered over 100 doctors in my lifetime. It comes with the territory of having an extremely ill mom. I can without a doubt say that I have never encountered staff like the transplant staff here at Toronto General and Sick Kids Hospital. Growing up, Dr. Levy and Dr. Gregg and Dr. Grant and Dr. Lilly were always my heroes because they gave us back our mom after her 2 liver transplants. When I was 17, I asked Dr. Lilly to come and assist me presenting my OAC Science and Society project on organ transplants. This man drove all the way to Newmarket early one morning to help me. I never forgot his kindness, and he didn't let me forget it either, 18 years later when he came to visit me after my kidney donation. He said, "I heard a rumor that Jan Robertson's daughter was here donating a kidney, and I had to see it for myself. And by the way, I have a bone to pick with you. You never told me what grade we got on that presentation." I laughed so hard that it hurt, because I had just had major surgery, and I was so proud to tell him that I got an A+ on the presentation. I bet that many of you don't have a story like that about your medical team. Then there were the team of nurses and support staff on the 7th floor back in 2008 when Mom had her second life-saving liver transplant. Our family had lived down here with Mom for 6 months as we painfully watched her get sicker and sicker with each passing day. The staff became our extended family, supporting us every single step of the way. Then one night, with 24 hours left to live, we all got the news that a liver had been found. I'll never forget sitting up in Mom's room all night long as one by one the staff came in and hugged us and cried happy tears with us and even accompanied us down to the operating room at 6 a.m. that morning. Later in life, Dr. Ganekar and living kidney donor coordinator Julie Cecile, who also played big parts in Mom's miracles, became my heroes in my 2 miracles here at this hospital. I will never be able to thank you 2 enough for all of the patience, care, understanding, and time that you have both shown me over these past 3 years. It's the small things that matter the most. Like after this latest donation, when the doctors made their rounds on Saturday morning and were so happy to tell me that they had been across the street to see Nyla, as they knew that I had desperately wanted to see her, but couldn't yet because I still had my central line in. They told me that she was doing super well, how beautiful she is, and thanked me for doing such a wonderful thing. Or when Julie took time out of her extremely busy day to come and see me the day after surgery. Clearly she didn't need to do that, as I was no longer under her care with the liver donation. But that hug and visit and picture that we took will always be one of my favorite memories from this last donation. Thank you to all of the incredible staff here at UHN's transplant program. My wish is that you all know what a difference you make in people's lives, and thank you for making all of the difference in mine and my loved ones' lives. I had always considered being a donor, but I got serious about it 5 years ago. I dropped 40 pounds, and I made exercise and healthy eating my new norm. It was always my intention to donate one of my kidneys to my mom when the time came and her kidneys finally succumbed to her polycystic kidney and liver disease. However, if I have learned one thing in this life, we can plan all we want, but sometimes fate has other things in mind. In late 2016, one of our PKD friends had her second living kidney transplant canceled, and her health was failing. So my family and I spoke, and we made the decision that I would get tested for Meg, and that when the time came for Mom, the universe would deliver us a living donor for her. Less than a year earlier, I had lost one of my best friends of 30 years to a rare form of cancer. How fitting would this donation be in her honor? The donation to Meg went beautifully, and she has been living her best life these last 2.5 years. During the next year, I lost another individual who was like a second father to me to cancer. And as I watched him slip away, and as the last conversation we ever had revolved around him saying, "I'm so proud of you for donating your kidney. You've done something so big and important with your life, and not many people can say that." I started to feel as though my living donation journey just wasn't complete yet, and perhaps this is why I could never find the perfect ending to the book I'm writing on my donation experience. It was because my journey wasn't over. So I called my mom and Julie in the spring of 2018, and I said, "I'm going to try for the liver. Here we go again." Through the grace of God, I passed the liver testing and met the most wonderful baby girl and her family during the process, who I would end up donating to. Both deaths of my loved ones impacted me greatly, and they still do on a daily basis. I would have done anything to change places with them, but at the end of the day, there was nothing I could do to save them or to take the devastation away from their families after they passed. Instead of being unlikable in my grief, I knew I needed to do something profoundly positive with it. So I chose to save 2 lives in the loving memory of the 2 that were taken far too soon, and in tremendous gratitude for the 2 donors and their families who saved my mom and in turn saved our little family. As I was wheeled into surgery on May 23rd of this year, mine and Nyla's miracle day, I remember being so calm and so at peace because I knew I had the very best surgeon in Dr. Ganekar taking care of me, and that both of my hands were going to be held during surgery this time, even if it was all the way from heaven. Mark Twain once said, "The 2 most important days of your life are the day that you're born and the day that you find out why." And as my tattoo reads, I gave her life, she gave me purpose. There is no doubt in my mind that everything I have done and been through has brought me to you 2, Meg and Nyla, and that these 2 living donations are a huge part of my purpose and my why in this life. I've become a bit of a grace hunter in these past 3 years. I search for the small things in every day that put a smile on mine and my loved ones' faces, and I spend several moments a day shaking my head in awe at the transplant program here at UHN and the incredible things that the human body can do. And I admit that I spend hours each week looking at pictures and videos of Nyla from these past 9 months. I am truly amazed with this little human's resilience, strength, positivity, and impact. I can only imagine what she's going to go on to do in her long life, and knowing that I played a small part in all the wonderful things that she will accomplish brings me the greatest joy that I have ever felt. I wake up a healthier and happier person every single day because I wake up knowing that this 40-year-old bod saved 2 people who I love dearly and with whom I share a bond like no other, an unbreakable, eternal bond. It is very important to recognize donors for their special part in the miracle of transplantation. However, having lived with a 2-time Toronto General Hospital transplant recipient, I can say with 100% certainty that recipients are the real heroes. So to all of the recipients in the room, thank you for showing up in life, even when it was really hard and when all you wanted to do was cry and give up. Always remember that showing vulnerability is not a sign of weakness. We've all got physical and emotional scars from these donations and transplants. They will forever be ours, and we shouldn't try to hide them because they tell the story of what warriors we are and all that we have fought through to be here today. As singer-songwriter Joshua Radin sings, "You'll never know what you can be until you come to realize in the rear view all that has hurt you is just a passerby." Thank you for fighting so that your loved ones could enjoy you and all of the gifts that you have to offer for so many more years to come. Thank you for being the true heroes in these stories here today. Beginnings are scary and endings are often sad, but it's the middle that matters the most. And as Tim McGraw sings, don't ever take for granted the love that this life has to offer. And when you get to where you're going, don't forget to turn back around and help the next one in line. Always stay humble and kind. And in closing, if I can leave you with some advice today, it would be this. Always choose brave, and don't ever ask for permission to start changing the world. Start changing it today, because you'll never regret it, I promise. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your beautiful words. Joanne Kearney and Brendan Cahill have been true champions, not only for the cause of living donation, but also for the Centre for Living Donation, which is sponsoring tonight's event. I'd like to ask Joanne and Brendan to come and share their story.
Thank you, Catherine, and thank you to the Center for Living Organ Donation for inviting us to share our story. It's very difficult to follow Megan and your tremendous story, but we'll try. My husband, Brendan, donated his kidney to a stranger so I could receive one from a stranger through the Kidney Paired Exchange program. His gift of love changed the course of our lives forever. I lived with chronic kidney disease for almost 30 years under the very excellent care of sick kids and Dr. Jessel here at the Toronto General Hospital Kidney Clinics. But about 6 years ago, my kidney function just started to rapidly deteriorate and fail. 2.5 years ago, I had my kidney transplant. This gift gave me a healthier and more energetic life. It also lifted that great uncertainty for my many more years to come. Brennan's gift, and that of my direct donor, also transformed the lives of those kidney recipients and their loved ones that were all part of our paired exchange. It is the living organ donors that are the true heroes of the story, which is obviously the theme of the evening, and it is my great honor to be in a room full of heroes this afternoon.
Now, I've said if I had a third kidney, I'd give that as well. But Megan's telling me now the liver is fair game, so I have something to live up to. And clearly after Megan's words, I have a lot to live up to. And I'm going a bit off script here because everybody has stolen my lines. But I think, as I do go through my remarks, it really struck me, Megan's words, like how similar the experience is and how, what I thought was my experience as a donor is really every donor's experience. So, we all go through life focused on a million different and permanent things, so few of which we'll remember next week, certainly not next year. We so seldom gain those experiences that we'll remember in our last breath and that our children will speak to their children of. Even more so, how often does time simply stop as one thing of transcendent importance creates a bubble, an oasis from the rushed mundanity of life, one that's filled with peaceful joy? Maybe your wedding day, the birth of a child. Now, as Megan and I guess many donors in this room know, that's what being a donor is like. And let me be very clear, I'm the grateful recipient of the opportunity to give. And it's an absolutely incomparable gift to receive and share one of these life experiences with Joe. But not everyone is as lucky as Joe and I. On our journey, we've met many people who were struggling with kidney or liver failure, not always aware of the treatment options available in this extraordinary facility we have here in Toronto. Some live on dialysis for long periods, losing hope of living again without the help of a machine. Others remain on the deceased donor list with years of uncertainty ahead of them. Many are simply unable to make the ask, fearful for the health of their loved ones. So despite the blessings we had, we felt a terrible loneliness when we heard and continue to hear of these struggles. And that's a loneliness that is unacceptable to us, should be unacceptable to any Canadian.
So after Brendan and I left our bubble in time, we returned to everyday life more energized than ever, but with a new goal: to help erase that terrible loneliness. 1 year post-transplant, and together with our families, we became founding philanthropic supporters and patient partners of the Center for Living Organ Donation, the first of its kind in the world. We did so to offer hope and to offer a future, a second chance of life for thousands of suffering Canadians, and to ensure living organ donors receive care for life. The UHN transplant program is the obvious natural home for this center. Its world-leading team, groundbreaking research, and novel innovations are changing the face of transplantation globally. Of course, I don't need to tell this room that. Everyone here is very well aware and is very proud. We can be very proud patients and proud donors that we are being cared for at the best transplant program in the world, at one of the best hospitals in the world. Being organ donors and patient advocates, by being here today, by having the conversation we've been having all afternoon, by philanthropically supporting the cause, you are playing an active role in helping the center increase living donation rates by 50% in Ontario within the next 5 years.
Now, we believe the center is going to drive this achievement by changing the conversation from a desperate ask by the most direly ill to an immediate offer by Canadians leaping at the opportunity to help a loved one. As living organ donors, we're too often called heroes, but small sacrifices for those you love, they're as easy as breathing. And when you go through the donation process, you think about the others you donate to, your parents, your brothers, your sisters, cousins, aunts, uncles, friends, coworkers, and you eventually realize that circle is boundless. So, no, us donors aren't the heroes of this story, as been said today. It's the incredible people of this hospital and transplant program. Many in this room, Dr. Tinkham, my own surgeon, Dr. Selsner, Dr. Humar, Dr. Smith, Dr. McGillivray, just extraordinary doctors at this hospital. You know, those who devote their minds, those who devote their time, and those who make medical innovation happen through philanthropy. They're the ones who make it all possible. But above all, it's the recipients that are our heroes. They keep the candle of hope alight against the winds of suffering. Heroes defy the odds. We're just their faithful sidekicks. Jojo's my Batman, I'm just Robin. And that's what the center is really about. It's about encouraging more people to help turn the odds by donating to a loved one or a stranger. So the true heroes of these stories can make it safely home. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Joanne and Brendan, for your stories and for your incredible support for the Centre for Living Donation. So this concludes the formal part of the program. We invite you to continue the celebration. Walk the red carpet if you haven't already had a chance, have your photo taken, get to know some more of our living donors, hear their stories here and also on our website. Take a moment, if you haven't already, to express your gratitude on the art walls that are at the back of the room. These walls are going to be gifted to the liver and kidney program teams as a constant reminder that what they do really matters. This is going to be an annual event because we are going to have a lot more great stories to celebrate next year, including the incredible acts of generosity. On behalf of the Centre for Living Donation, thank you for being here, thank you for sharing your stories, and thank you for being a part of our future. Enjoy the rest of the evening.